I've never had irregular periods. I mean, my periods have been so regular. How can I have PCOS?
The consequences it has on your body and mind are more challenging than the symptoms.
I didn't even know insulin could be affected by PCOS. I didn't know I could get this anxious because of PCOS.
Until last year, when things got extremely serious, I started gaining weight again. But this time it was a little different. This time it felt that there is this natural tendency in me to put on more weight around my abdominal area. And along with that, there was so much of fatigue and so much of drowsiness that creeped in. I also experienced a lot of hair fall, dark patches of skin, and this is something I never experienced before. So I knew it was time to take medical help. When I did that, got my tests done, I realized that I've got insulin resistance, PCOS.
My gynec looks at me and she says, we need to do a blood test for your insulin, a fasting blood test. And I said, my insulin? And I was so confused because I don't know what was happening. And then I sort of shared my concerns with her as well as to how I felt that if I didn't have irregular periods, then how is it that, I had PCOS? And then that's when I started realizing the misconceptions that's around PCOS in general.
It's on one very long, poorly understood spectrum. As studies on it and as experience with it increased, we realize that it is not just limited to the ovaries, and it is not a disease per se. It's a syndrome of many, many things happening together, not just with the ovaries, but also with the sugar levels in the body, also with the cardiovascular problems with the condition, with obesity, with skin changes, with hair changes, etc. And hence the term Polycystic Ovarian Syndrome was adopted. Why it occurs is, again, relatively unknown, but the core problems here that occur are, number one, there is chronic anovulation. So for most girls routinely, most women, they would make one egg a month. If that egg gets fertilized, you get pregnant. If not, you get your period in approximately 2 weeks or so.
Right.
When somebody has PCO, they lose this ability to make regular eggs and release regular eggs into their system, into their body. And hence it triggers out a series of events which causes hormonal imbalances, such as insulin resistance, increased male hormones in your body, a lack of rhythmic, the rhythm of the estrogen and progesterone, that is lost.
PCOS was basically affecting my insulin rather than other things. Obviously, there were the generic symptoms, sometimes like the black patches on my neck or like intense hair growth or whatever, which was not that much.
What basically insulin resistance means is that, say, if I had an X amount of sugar, my body would need to produce less amount of insulin to burn it off. With somebody who has insulin resistance, their pancreas needs to produce much more levels of insulin to burn off the same amount of sugar. So you're not strictly diabetic. Your sugar levels, if you just get your fasting and your post-lunch done, may turn out to be normal, but that's at the expense of having very high natural insulins in your body. This insulin itself is an anabolic hormone. So it makes you again put on weight. It causes a lot of pigmentation, especially behind the neck, around the nape of the neck, in between thighs, things like that. So insulin is one aspect of it. It increases the lipids in your body, making you more prone to developing cardiac disease. Many girls who have insulin resistance may end up developing actual type 2 diabetes by the time they're in their 40 or early 40s. So all of these things need to be taken care of.
I mean, I've always been someone who's been very chubby as a child, but I still remember when I was in class 9 and I was diagnosed with PCOD, I suddenly felt that overnight I'm not chubby or cute anymore. I'm this fat girl who needs to lose a lot of weight, who doesn't look good. And that's not something that a child should really experience. There was a time where I used to put black chart papers on the mirror because I didn't like what I saw.
the anxiety, the mood swings that come with PCOS, it kind of stays. You wake up feeling tired every single day. Chronic pain is a part of anxiety, and anxiety is a part of PCOS.
Treating polycystic ovaries isn't as simple as treating one particular disease. There are drugs available for it, but drugs are not enough. Lifestyle modifications play an equal role. Diet and exercise. There is no universal polycystic ovarian diet. What actually does help is increasing a lot of fruits, seeds, nuts, whole grains, a lot of fiber in your diet, cutting off processed food, reducing your carbohydrate or high glycemic food intake a little bit, and exercise.
For me, maintaining a proper balance between my physical health and my work really helped me. When I inculcated exercise in my daily routine, I actually saw a lot of difference in how I felt and in my recovery to insulin resistance and PCOS.